What's up, guys? My name is Andre. In this video, we're going to be talking about the market session correlation by size report on Edgeful.com. So this is a sub-report of the standard market session correlation. Pretty much what this report does is it tells you if the London session closed green, how often does New York also close green? So I'll show you guys here quickly. Here's a good example. London session closes green, right? You can see that right here from the open to the close. How often does the New York session also close green? Here's an example of the red London session with a green New York session. Here's an example of a green London, red New York, red London, red New York, right? So this is saying if London closed green, how often does New York also follow through and close green? This is using the open to close customization. So using these lines from the open to the close of the session is what you're going to want to do. Now, if we go to the by size, which is what this video is for, you are now filtering only the London session range to see if the range of London is going to impact how New York closes, right? So you can see here, if I go to from 0 to 1% of a London range. So let's actually look on this day here. This is Friday, October 10th. Okay, so Friday, October 10th had a 1.07% London range. 1.07. It's not exact. I didn't mark it out exactly right here. 1.07%. That falls into the bucket, obviously, between 1 and 2%. And now you can see London closed red and New York also closed red. Really, the point of this is not, if you want to learn more about the market session correlation, make sure to watch the standard video. But the purpose of this report is to be able to filter on the size of the London session. So if you go to Asia and London, you're now filtering on the Asian range. So let's double click on our market sessions indicator, turn on Asia, turn off New York. And now let's look to see if Asia closed green 75% of the time in the last, well, looking specifically at Asian sessions between 1 and 2%, which is very rare. So I'm going to go right over here between 0 to 1. You can see the frequency here is a lot higher. So here and here, there's only not that many days here. If we go from 0 to 1, there's a lot more days. But what we can do now is we're going to measure. What day am I on? I'll go to October 10th. You can see we are going to measure the Asian range here is 0.19%. So we're going to do that, 0.19%. So this is pretty much just allowing you to say, okay, if there's strong momentum in a certain direction and the ranges are going to be bigger, how is that going to impact my following session? So now you can compare Asia to London, London to New York, also Asia to New York. Now, the same thing in terms of green versus red sessions using the previous close to close customization right over here. You can change this to where you're no longer looking from the open to the close of the session. I'm going to turn off my lines just to avoid any confusion. And now what we're looking at is from this London's close. So in this case here, this is going to be, just bear with me for a second. London close is here. This London closed below, right? This would be a red London. This is now a red London session. You can obviously see all this here. It'll make it much easier. But this is a red London session. And then now you're going to say, how often does this New York session close below the previous New York session? The reason that we do this is not very intuitive. The only reason I'm bringing it up is I recommend that you guys stick to this open to close because it's a lot easier to play with. We also have a custom selector that you can, if you want to be more tailored, right? You can have a different bucket here. So you can filter for specific, very, very specific days. But the reason that we have this previous close to close is this is how stocks do it. This is how CNBC does it. Whenever you hear, in this case here, you can see, bear with me for 1 second while I clean this up. So you can very obviously see that today so far is red, but Amazon announced earnings yesterday. They're up 10% in one day. But if you look from the open to the close, you'd be like, oh, this is a red day. But in reality, it's not. This is when you look from previous close to close, you're going to see this accounts for the gaps. And that's why we even have this. But I recommend that you guys stick to the open to the close customizations. If this is helpful, please subscribe to the YouTube. If you have any questions, please reach out to our support right over here. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching.